Hi, it's another week. It's another reading vlog. How you doing? It's the second week of the magical readathon. Are we hyped? Yes, I am. And I'm immediately starting off this vlog with good news by saying that I finished Lock Every Door by Riley Sagar. This is a adult thriller following Jules. An adult thriller following Jules, who just got fired and found out that her boyfriend is cheating on her. So now she's out of money and out of a place to live, and she ends up coming across this ad in a newspaper for this building called the Bartholomew. I think that's how you pronounce it, but it's this building with a lot of where a lot of rich people live, and it's very hard to be able to live in this building because so exclusive and mysterious. There's a lot of secrets around it, not a lot goes out about it. Then she finds an ad in a newspaper basically looking for someone to apartment sit one of the apartments, because the previous tenant passed away, and the family's still fighting over the inheritance, but they don't want the apartment to be empty and during this time. And some shady stuff starts happening because it's a thriller. And I really like this one. I give this one 5 stars. I read Survive the Night by Riley Sagar a couple of months ago, and I didn't really like that one, so I was a little bit nervous going into this one, even though I know that book is hated by all of its biggest fans. But I really enjoyed this one. Right from the beginning, just the atmosphere that's created is so great, and you can immediately tell that this building is super shady, and you're completely pulled into it. And I felt tense reading this the entire way through just because of that. I really liked the way things slowly started to unravel, and all of a sudden towards the end it went very quickly, and I really loved all the different things going on. Some things I predicted, some things I didn't, but overall I was very shocked. And I just, oh my god, I read the last 100 pages of this just in one go because I couldn't stop. I needed to know what was gonna happen next, and I really like how it was done, and I just had a blast reading it, I guess. So yeah, I finished Lock Every Door, and I'm now continuing on to Book of Night by Holly Black. I ended off my last reading vlog by kind of deciding what I was going to read next, and I picked this one. I've only read the first chapter of this so far, so I'm 26 pages in. I'm very excited to continue on reading this. Hi, it's Tuesday. It's 10:30 p.m. and no, it's not a Tuesday right after the last update. It's a week later. I really hate doing these 2 weeks combined into one vlogs, but the truth is I'm not reading, I'm not filming, so here we are. I should give you one update for the week though, and that's that I did read Monster Volume 2 by Naoki Urasawa. Give this 5 stars. I did not like as much as the first one. I will explain to you. This is a series of manga books, and the first volume, our main character named Tanama, he's a surgeon, and in the first volume he's the top surgeon of this hospital, and he gets in this little boy, and he's about to operate on this little boy when the mayor also comes in for surgery, and his boss is the mayor is important, so you said perform surgery on him first, but he's the kid was first, and if I don't operate on him now, you'll probably die. So he decides to go against orders and operate on the kid. And a couple of days later, the heads at the hospital kind of all get murdered very suspiciously, and the same night that this little boy just ends up disappearing mysteriously from the hospital, even though he was barely conscious. And yeah, that's the main setup for the series. I've heard people explain it a little bit more in depth, but I feel that gives away some of the twists in the first volume. So this is the second one, and Tanama kind of goes more of a investigation of his own in this one, and I did think that was interesting. I got a lot of interesting reveals and backstory, but overall this just wasn't as enthralling as the first volume for me, and not a whole lot happened in this, just kind of giving more of an explanation behind other things and doing setup. But I am very excited to continue on with the series. And then I did do some reading throughout the week, not a whole lot. I got 100 pages into Book of Night by Holly Black, and then on a whim I decided to pick up Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, which I'm also 100 pages into. I'm excited to continue someday. further this week, because last week was just a heat wave and it like melted my brain, and of course that's when I pick up like a book that's very taxing on the brain, because hi, I'm not smart. So I'm really hoping like this week it's supposed to cool down a lot, so I'm hoping to like get more into like my reading motivation and then like read more of this. I've been watching a lot of the Lizzie Bennet diaries though, because like that's something I watched like years ago, and I promised myself that I've been meaning to rewatch it for a while. I promised myself to not rewatch until I finally read the book, because I have owned it for so long. Like I started this book and I immediately started watching it, even though that was not planned. And at one point I got like caught up with the book of where I was, but now I'm already like further, so I have to keep reading to keep going. I'm at a good place in the Lizzie Bennet diary, so like it's painful to stop. We have an ambitious, very ambitious TBR. Like this is basically my TBR for like the rest of the month, so this is not entirely just for this week. Like this is the TBR we're going off of. And my problem is that I currently, because my brain is so fried, I'm very much in a contemporary mood, and the only contemporary on here is Book Lovers. I'm not really in the mood to read Book Lovers. And also I have a deadline on my library books, which are due next Tuesday. So those probably should be prioritized, but I haven't read a single book of my own physical TBR this month yet. So I don't know what's happening. I'm in a crisis. I don't really know what to read right now. Okay, so I decided to pick up Bitter for its very quick comments, because this is the shortest one on my TBR currently, but also because I remember reading Pets pretty quickly and I really love that one, and this is a prequel to that, so I'm also really hoping this will just be like a quick read that I'll love. So yes. Okay, so I read Bitter by Quickly Medzi and I finished it. Gave it 2 to 5 stars. Yeah, that feels like a disappointment because it's a prequel to Pet, and it's very hard to explain this book without spoiling Pet. So yeah, I recommend you could read this without reading Pet if you're not interested in Pet at all, but this does spoil Pet in like major ways. So if you're gonna read both, read them in release order, which is Pet and then Bitter, just saying. But I didn't like this as much as Pet, because even though like this definitely like delved more into like the fantastical side of things and felt more fantasy than Pet, and I liked those elements. And besides, and like Pet, this discusses a lot of great themes that I can't really talk about because again it was spoiled Pet, but I didn't really feel that connected to the characters in this one, which kept me from connecting to the story and like getting invested into the story too much. Like I am a character based reader. Like I need to care about my characters to be able to like be invested in what's happening to them. So that like kept me from like fully loving this book. And on top of that, I feel like there's so much going on in this one, and it's like very short, and it feels like things didn't get like that proper time, or like just the way certain things were dealt with or the way things were resolved just felt like very quick and easy, because we couldn't spend a lot of time on them because of the short page count. So I would have actually liked it if this was a little bit longer and like some things were fleshed out a little bit more. And now it is fucking Thursday. It actually is already Friday because it's past midnight and I'm running out of time. So here are my 3 priority books for the weekend. It's Monster Volume 3, which I'll probably be reading right now because I'm not really tired yet. And I have Book of Night by Holly Jackson and The Girl with the Make-Believe Husband by Julia Quinn. This one I'm gonna prioritize above this one because just what I'm more in the mood for, and I really want to finish that series off as well. So yeah, but I'm also hoping to like make more progress into this. So very ambitious TBR for 3 days left of the week. Okay, so it's Sunday and I didn't mean to go this long without updating you. I meant to update you yesterday, but they were throwing a party like in my neighborhood. I don't know exactly where, but like somewhere in my street, and it was super loud and like I couldn't like film an update because that music would have gotten me copyright stricken. I really don't want to do that. But on Thursday, which is when I last updated you, I believe, after finishing Bitter, I read and finished Monster Volume 3 by Naoki Iwasawa. This one I ended up giving 3 to 5 stars because I just I don't know, I felt like this one was very episodic and like not a whole lot happened in this. It didn't really like move the story along too much. There is like one big thing that I can't talk about because spoilers obviously. There's one big thing that gets revealed in this, which is like devastating and like tragic and like is important like backstory stuff, I guess. But that was like such a minor part of this volume, and like most of it wasn't really like, this one just felt a bit like a filler volume, so that's why I gave it 2 to 5 stars. But I'm still like very intrigued to keep going with this series, Then on Friday, I spent my day filming and editing, and I was fighting with my holy fuck video, which you don't want to know about, but it's up now. Go watch it, please do, because I put so much effort into that video, because there were things going on left, right, and center, and I'm really proud of how it ended up. So hopefully all of you will like it as well. But yesterday I started reading The Girl with the Make-Believe Husband by Julia Quinn, which I'm 200 pages into, which is like a little bit over halfway through, and I am not liking this one as much. This is the second book in the Roxby series, which I mainly binged last month, and I really loved all of the books. But this one follows like Cecilia, who like goes to New York because she got a letter that her brother is like injured in war, so she goes to New York to like go see what's up with him. And there's other reasons, but like that's like the main one you gotta know about. And then she ends up finding out that there is this officer who like a captain, not captains, or officers, I don't know, the back says officers, but like the story says that they're captains, but I'll say officer. It's this officer who, and she in New York, she finds out there's this officer who's like unconscious and like something bad happened, and she immediately assumes that it's her brother, so like she goes, and then she finds out that it's Edward Wilkesby, who's like her brother's like best friend in the army, so she kind of like takes it upon herself to like take care of him, but like of course like she just can't do that, so she says that she's his wife. And then at the beginning of this book, like he wakes up after being unconscious for like weeks, and he has suffered some memory loss because of the injury he has. So he's like very confused about like the fact that he has a wife, but like also at the same time it's like, I lost a couple of months of my life that I don't remember, so like it could be. And yeah, I don't know, right now where I'm at, I have to say I'm not a big fan of the amnesia trope, which is something that is not on the back, I believe, at least not from what I've read. No, it's not on the back that there is amnesia in this, but I feel like that's an important one to mention, because I know that's a hit or miss trope for everyone, like for several people. But I don't like amnesia tropes. I really don't. I just like immediately from the second that I saw that it was amnesia, I was like, fuck, I'm not gonna like this. But like I still kept an open mind because I like the rest of the series so much. But I am not really feeling the chemistry between these two, and I'm not really connecting to them as characters either, and like that's not necessarily because of the amnesia. I don't know, I'm not connecting to them. I don't really feel any chemistry between them. It seems like a lot of like physical attraction mainly. So yeah, I'm not really, I don't know, I'm not vibing with it, especially because I also just think this is boring. There was like a little bit of a plot besides the romance, but that's boring me. So I don't know. At this moment in time, it's feeling like a 3-star, which is a little bit disappointing. Hi, it's Monday, so that means we're wrapping up the vlog. Last night, actually, like yesterday, not really last night, also in the afternoon, but yesterday I actually got quite a lot more reading done, so I thought I'd update you on that. First off, I finished The Girl with the Make-Believe Husband by Julia Quinn, and I'm not giving this 2 to 5 stars. I just feel like what I said earlier, that I didn't really connect to the characters, I didn't feel the chemistry between them, and I just didn't really buy the romance, which just left me feeling very meh throughout all the book. Also, like there was a little bit of a plot, but it's like very small aspect of this book, and it's like very uninteresting as well, so that also just like didn't really do much for me. But then like the third act conflict was very predictable, like I didn't see that coming, but it was done in such a frustrating way that I like even hated it more than what I was expecting. So yeah, that made it go from like a meh book to like I don't like this one. And I feel really bad because the other books in this series are like a 5-star and 2 4-stars, so like the fact that this is a 2-star just kind of like bothers me a little bit, because I wish I would have liked it just to like fit in with the theme. But I did finish it, and I'm glad I did so. And then I read another 100 pages of Book of Night by Holly Black, which brings me to page 200, which isn't a lot. Also, like someone needs to explain to me why the Dutch edition is like 500 pages while the American edition is like 300. Like where did this 200 extra pages come from? Is it just like the formatting or something? Because it's driving me wild that this is like so much larger. But I'm not into this book really. I can give you a synopsis, I would love to, but I feel like almost nothing has happened yet, which is just keeping me from like enjoying this more than 100 pages at a time, because I'm just like, I'm really bored. But like last night also I was pretty tired, so that's also a reason why I stopped earlier. But just yeah, I'm bored. Not a whole lot has happened yet. I don't understand the world. Like there's so much going on, but I just like I don't like going on, not really, because like I said, nothing is going on, but like there's so much aspects of this world, and I don't understand it, and it keeps getting referenced like I should understand it, but like I don't. So it's like very confusing. And I was like, oh, this is like half of this like told of like with flashbacks, so like the past to when our main character was like a child, and I don't give a shit. Like I'm sure that those things are gonna become important because our elves include so much of it, but like I don't care. So far I'm not liking this, which is too bad, because even though I've only heard negative reviews for it, somehow I was like still positive. But I don't know, I'm not liking it. But maybe it will turn around. Maybe, because I still have 200 pages left. I'm not even halfway through. So like it might take a twist. Who knows? Yeah, that's all I read this week, which isn't, I mean, it is a lot. I read a lot this week, especially compared to like the rest of August. Like I did my due diligence. I don't know how to pronounce words, but I did read quite a lot this week. It's just that I didn't really like what I read. I'm very excited about next week because I have big plans, reading wise and not reading wise. So I'm very excited for next week. So hopefully you'll join me again then, and I'll see you next time. Bye.